Hello, welcome to the Bearded Horror Review. My name is Dan, aka the Boogey Man, and on this series of my show, the Bearded Indie Horror Review, I will be looking at a indie, low budget, whatever you want to call it, long, short horror film, and talking about the ones that I think are worth talking about. Before we carry on, guys, if you can leave a like and subscribe if you are enjoying my reviews, it's a little thing for you, but it's such a big help for me. Really appreciate it. Yes, so indie horror films. I talked about an indie horror film a little while ago. I've got another one lined up here. So this is a horror film that is coming out, having its premiere in Chicago in December, I believe. It's called In the Flesh by Hard Rhyme Productions. I think that's how you say it. That's how you spell it. That's how I'm saying it. So yeah, they messaged me, asked me if I wanted to see a screener and give my genuine thoughts on this, give it a proper review, if I wanted to talk about it. And I said, the premise sounds great. Send it over to me and I'll give it a watch. And I said, it's about 45 minutes long. It's a shorter one. It's not a full-length feature. But the premise really kind of intrigued me. So the premise of this film is Ted is a businessman and he is one day kidnapped by a man named Jeremy. And Jeremy forces Ted to reenact conversations, things that happened on videotapes and recordings from his now deceased brother David. And the premise of that alone really intrigued me. The idea that someone is forcing someone else to pretend to be their brother. It very much felt like a deep analysis of the lengths that grief can push us to. And I was so intrigued by this, and I watched the trailer and I was like, yes, excellent. So I really want to watch this. Watching this is a really fun short film. It's about 45 minutes long. The premise is such a good premise, and the execution as well is pretty damn good for the budget and, you know, the restraints that they have. I did find that some things in the story and the way things went weren't exactly to my tastes, but, you know, we can get into that later in the video. Overall, this was a really good short film. It very much showed the passage of time really well. It showed the lengths that this man is willing to go to for his reason for kidnapping Ted. And it shows what will happen to a person when they just want to survive and what they are willing to do, almost in a very strange scenario, to just keep going. Like, let's keep this going until I can figure a way to get out of this. Yeah, it was a really interesting story. I genuinely think this could have been fleshed out with some added scenes and some more kind of, with some slight tweaks onto the story. Easily could have been fleshed out into a full-length feature, because this is a really good premise. It's really well shot. I really enjoyed the cinematography and the way that this was shot, directed. It's very, very good. When you look at some of the other indie horror films and things that come out, it's not found footage or anything like that. It's just straight up cinematic, and I really enjoyed that. With this, you have to look at things. So there's some downsides for myself. Some of the acting was a bit wooden or a bit choppy, but that's what you have to expect with indie horror films and lower budget films. Sometimes it's not going to be the best thing, but the story and the premise and what was happening kind of overrided that for myself. And so I was able to just enjoy this film. It is a very good exploration into grief and into dealing with grief. And I really, really kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. It did take a turn for myself when some aspects were kind of revealed behind motivations and why this person was doing what they were doing, from what I could tell in the context, because it doesn't flat out tell us really. It shows us a lot of things and imagery, but it doesn't say this person is doing this because of this. But I got an idea of it, and unfortunately for me, it did go, well, I've seen this angle before. Your premise is so original, and you could have taken this aspect out of it and it would have been so much more frightening, because then you've taken away a morality and a certain aspect to it, and all you've got is a person doing something because they feel like they've got no other choice. And it was just, that was one of the things for myself. But like I said, some of the dialogue was really great. Some of the, you know, the way that they directed, showing the aspect of time and the direction of this, it has so much potential, and it is genuinely like a breath of fresh air to see an original idea put into an indie horror film, because we get so many kind of clones and copies and like, oh, they want to remake this and they want to redo that. Someone coming up with a genuinely really good original idea and working through that in this very short film, it was really interesting, and I can tell that they wanted to do more. This production company and the director really wanted to do more with this idea. It felt like they were trying to push all the time, but obviously they're restrained by time and budget, and they did a fantastic job. When it comes to these indie horror reviews, I don't give a rating. I just say if I enjoyed it or not and what my ups and downs were of these things. So yeah, I did genuinely enjoy this. Like I said, it's not got distribution yet, but it's something that I genuinely think should be seen and could be fleshed out into a full-length feature with just some tweaks of the story and the script, and I really think this could be something fantastic. But yeah, so In the Flesh hopefully will be coming to some screens soon. This is something I think, you know, if you are a indie horror fan, this is one to watch. It's 45 minutes long. It's got a really good premise, really good idea. There's some really great moments in it, and the things I didn't like about it, you may love. Who knows? So genuinely, this is one to watch out for. I think it should be watched. But yeah, that's In the Flesh, guys. Like I said, it's coming out in December. Hopefully it's going to get a bigger release after that, so more of you can see it. But until the next indie horror review, guys, happy watching.